Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to the third annual State of the City Address for the City of Summerside, here at the beautiful Credit Union Place. My name is Daniel Cudmore, Manager, Marketing and Communications for the City of Summerside, and I'll be providing opening remarks and helping us get started today. We're pleased to have so many community members, partners, and stakeholders joining us. Thank you for being here. As we get started, just a few quick notes. Please feel free to continue enjoying your meal during the program. Washrooms are located in the main lobby at the Credit Union Place, down the hall directly across from the front desk. We'll be keeping things moving with the goal of wrapping up by approximately 1 o'clock p.m. At this time, I'd like to invite Deputy Mayor Corey Snow to come forward to provide welcome remarks and introductions.
Thank you, Daniel. Good morning, everyone. It is a pleasure to welcome you to the third annual State of the City Address here in Summerside. On behalf of Mayor and Council, I'd like to extend a warm welcome to you all, especially honored to have Lieutenant Governor Dr. Wasim Solomon and his wife, Her Honor Marie Solomon Dunn. We're also pleased to welcome some special guests here today, Senator Mary Robinson, former Mayor Basil Stewart, Mayor Steve Ogden, along with our many partners and stakeholders and members of our community. At this time, I'd like to introduce my colleagues on City Council, Mayor Dan Kuchar, Councilor Justin Duran, Councilor Rick Morrison, Councilor Norma McColman, and Councilor Ken Trenholm, and of course, Councilor Bruce McDougall joining us on stage. And I would also like to acknowledge Councilors Kerry Adams and Nick Cameron, who are not with us here today, but remain an integral part of the Summerside story. Thank you all for being here and your continued support of our community. It is now my pleasure to invite Mayor Dan Kuchar to start the 2026 State of the City Address.
Thank you, Corey. Welcome, Your Honors and guests. I was thinking on the way down here that I still get nervous every time I get up and speak in front of an audience, and this is 4 years going, so I'm going to assume that it will never go away, so I've decided to just live with it. Yesterday, I had an opportunity to meet a small group of seniors who were gathered in a building in downtown Water Street here in Summerside. And it was a great reminder of one of, if not the biggest joy I have the opportunity to feel in this role. As mayor, wherever I go, whether it's the produce aisle at the grocery store or to the rink, if I pick up the phone and I call someone or send them a formal piece of correspondence, and I ask them what matters to them, and I ask them what their concerns are, and I ask them how their family is and how their life is doing. They share. They open their doors. They let me look into their windows of their life. And it is unique, and it is something that I certainly cherish. Whether they're young, old, rich, or poor, whether they're in business, a veteran, a child, a volunteer, from all walks of life and all types of different backgrounds from across our city. And when I sit down with them, there is certainly some concern that we are in an uncertain world. We are inundated with so much information, some of it good and useful, but a lot of it useless. And people are scared, and people are worried. But I'll tell you how I see it. I get to see something entirely different. Because every time I walk through that door and sit down with those women, in this case, those seniors at that little board table drinking stale coffee, I see people who are stepping up, people who care, people who share, people who volunteer, people in our city and our community who see problems and are focused on finding solutions. And it reminds me that hope is not aspirational, it is something happening here every single day. And I see some of you in this room who are those people. So know this, you are not alone. There are good people all around us. This year's State of the City is dedicated to you and to them. Bonjour, welcome, and good morning. Today we will share with you our vision for Summerside and what we have been doing to realize it. 4 years ago, we decided how we would govern, responsibly, together as a unit. We would treat others with respect and listen with intent. And we've kept things simple, focused on what matters, and made decisions based on the long-term interests of this community, not the politics of the moment. If you know what you're trying to accomplish, then making it happen isn't all that complicated. We set clear priorities, took action, and stayed the course, not because it was easy, but because it was necessary and the right thing to do. We started by accepting that our median age is too high. We had to get younger. We need young workers in order to support our older adults as they age in this wonderful community. To do this, we focused on keeping the people that we have, retention, welcoming others back, and attracting new young working families. This became our decision-making lens. With 20% of our workforce here in Summerside set to retire in the next decade, it remains just as important today. With that lens in place, we began to unpack a municipality that had done things a certain way for a long time. With a new council of experienced and new members and a staff who are committed, capable, and ready, we took our shot. So we established 2 principles. First, to ensure that our core duties, the things that a city and a municipality is supposed to do, are done well today and well prepared for tomorrow. And second, to do it in a fiscally responsible way. We also set our priorities to increase attainable housing, to build a more welcoming, connected, inclusive, and healthy city, and to transform our downtown. We know that not every decision we make makes everybody happy. That's not the role we're elected for. We are chosen by our community, our peers, and it is a humbling experience. But we are chosen to make the best decisions we can, with the best information we have, in the best interest of the people we represent, those that care about what we do and those that don't. That is the purpose of politics. The steps we have taken are modest and imperfect, but hopefully they inspire us all to remember that politics can and should and must be a force for good. This is our 3rd State of the City address. I hope you find it useful and informative. I'll begin with the first piece on housing, and then we'll work our way through all members of council as we touch on different pieces of what we've been working on. But I need a bit of water first. So Summerside's history, as many of you know, is incredibly distinct and interesting, but it is marked by distinct periods of change tied to economic drivers. From shipbuilding and maritime trade, to the global prominence of the fox farming industry, to post-war expansion, anchored by the base. And right now we are living through another one of those moments. What makes this period different, however, is how we are growing. Each of those other eras had a single defining force behind them. Today, more people are choosing Summerside to live, work, retire, and raise a family. It's driven by many external factors, but also by decisions we're making together as a community and the building blocks that we are standing on of those who have laid them before us. The moment is complex, and the impact, I think, is more durable. And it places a greater responsibility on us to get it right, especially when it comes to the first thing we'll talk about today, attainable housing. People need housing that is appropriate, adequate, affordable, and available. People need housing that meets them where they are today in their life and in the years ahead. So to accomplish this, we set about two things. One, to accelerate household formation, and to diversify housing options. We made policy changes while parallel tracking key infrastructure investments. We built infrastructure, policy, and momentum at the same time. We didn't just throw money at the problem, we set about solving it. And the results of our strategy materialized. Summerside led housing starts across Prince Edward Island. We've delivered more housing starts per capita than any city in Atlantic Canada. We didn't just see growth, we also saw the attraction of investment. So since 2022, there have been 1,162 housing starts in the city of Summerside. People are building more types of housing in more places across our city than has been available in decades. 560 new purpose-built rentals, almost 100 new single-family homes, 250 new semi and row houses, seniors housing, public housing, affordable housing, garden suites, in-law suites, transitional housing, and in the last 4 years, there are now over 40 new shelter beds to support those most in need. We do that as a community. We don't do that in isolation. Before we started, the vacancy rate here was less than 1%. Our city was growing, but the people who were living here were being squeezed, and that made putting a roof over your head way too expensive. Today, the vacancy rate's closer to 3.5%, and as units continue to come online and you see them across the city, there's no question, I'd expect that to go over 4%, a vacancy rate creating a much better balance for our city. The pace of development, though, is not sustainable long-term, and it was never intended or meant to be. Housing starts are beginning to level off, rental prices have been stabilizing, and that's a good thing. We acted quickly, but we also built for the long term. We all want a city where residents from every walk of life can share the same sidewalks and can share the same parks, where families can live near each other, where people know their neighbors and look out for one another. That is the character of this place. In many ways, we had to make big changes just to make sure things stayed the same. But we cannot build housing without the infrastructure to support it. A house doesn't have any value for the people who live under its roof, who gather at that kitchen table, if they don't have good roads and sidewalks, if they don't have water and sewer services, if they don't have stable electricity, emergency services, cultural programming, parks and recreation, community events, jobs and opportunities. Those are the things that a city is responsible for. So now I want to invite all of council, and we'll start with Councillor Duran, to the podium. Councillor.
Thank you, Your Worship. A couple of months ago, we completed a signature project for our city, one that had been envisioned for over 20 years, Cairns Boulevard. This $16 million project was delivered on time and under budget. Cairns Boulevard opens up more than 300 acres of land for future development and neighborhoods. It improves safety by connecting dead-end subdivisions with new exits, improves access for emergency services, and reduces response times for police and fire to thousands of residents. It is already the future site of 2 new emergency services buildings. It has been identified as an excellent location for a new school, something we all know we need, and it has also allowed us to expand Rotary Park and add a new accessible entrance. We cannot support the growth we have seen in recent years without the core infrastructure and services to support it. Accordingly, that is where a significant amount of our focus has been. Clean drinking water is at the heart of any community, and some of our infrastructure is now reaching the end of its natural life cycle, with certain components over 100 years old. We have made significant, sustained investments in water and sewer infrastructure over the past several years, ensuring our systems can support both current and future residents. This year alone, we are investing almost $10 million in water, sewer, and stormwater infrastructure. We are also undertaking a review of key drinking water source infrastructure, anticipating the challenges of tomorrow. To ensure that we can continue to make these necessary investments, we made the hard choice to raise water and sewer rates again by just under $5 per month, and we set a long-term rate projection so that we are paying for this critical service in a responsible and predictable way. We also introduced a long-term capacity reserve plan so that when major investments are required, we are not reacting, we are prepared. We believe residents have entrusted us to manage core infrastructure with a longer-term view than a 4-year election cycle, and our decisions reflect that. This is good policy and responsible politics. At the same time, our planning committee has been advancing several important policy initiatives that will shape how our city grows. In the next month, we will bring forward a final complete streets proposal to council. This builds off the significant expansion of our sidewalk network and active transportation network, including a new pathway extension along Greenwood Drive north of Pope Road. The committee has recently compiled a great list of intersections that are troublesome or concerning. I love the name, by the way. It wasn't mine, but it's great. It's the greatest list ever. Everyone tells me it's great. Thank you for the 2 people that found that funny. I needed somebody to laugh at that. These are now being reviewed and prioritized for safety and usability improvements. And we are working on a new crosswalk policy, building on the dozens of new additional crosswalks recently installed across the city to improve consistency, visibility, and safety. We are building a city that connects its people in measured and sensible ways. It isn't always flashy and exciting, but these are practical steps, and they matter. While progress has been positive, the reality is there is more to do. Budget pressures are struggling to keep pace with inflation, and as costs continue to rise, it becomes harder to stay ahead of long-term infrastructure needs. That has required difficult choices in other areas, but we will always ensure that the core systems and services people rely on every day are safe, reliable, and capable of supporting the future of the city. Thank you, and I would like to welcome Councillor Rick Morrison to the podium.
Thank you, Councillor Dwaron. When we talk about core infrastructure, there is one system that touches everyone, our electric utility. For over 100 years, Summerside Electric has been a cornerstone of this community. It is one of our most important assets and one of our greatest strengths, but today it is also facing new and growing pressures. Demand is increasing, driven by population and electrification. At the same time, the broader system we rely on is under strain, here, on PEI, and beyond. Over the past year, we have seen firsthand just how vulnerable that system can be, reinforcing the reality that aging infrastructure under pressure carries risk. These moments are not just challenges, they are warnings. They remind us that reliability cannot be assumed, it must be built. Over this term, we initiated a 10-year reinvestment plan into our electric utility and invested over $13 million towards reliability and energy security. We reconfigured our network to meet today's needs and prepare for the future. We are also planning for what comes next. Council has begun the process to secure new local generation up to 19 megawatts to increase capacity, improve local energy security, and replace the aging assets. We are also looking to expand our utility-scale battery storage system to ensure we can meet demand during peak periods, emergencies, and better support our current solar, battery, diesel, and wind assets. We can do more to support the rest of Prince Edward Island too, but we need the province to make legislative changes that give Summerside the option to have direct access to subsea cables and serve all the customers inside city boundaries and beyond. As the system becomes more complex, we must strengthen our governance, because good governance improves outcomes. This year, we established the Electric Utility Governance Review Committee. The committee is bringing recommendations to council to ensure our system remains strong, reliable, and 100% owned by the people of Summerside for the next 100 years. Alongside these investments in our utility, we are also continuing to deliver the municipal services that residents rely on every single day. This year, we are investing approximately $670,000 in municipal services capital. That includes street resurfacing, new equipment, and ongoing investments in snow clearing, street lighting, signage, and year-round road maintenance. Over the past 4 years, our teams have kept pace with a city that has grown rapidly, delivering more services to more residents across a larger and more active community. We have also improved how these services are delivered. For example, this winter, residents could track our snowplows using GPS in real time. In a true Summerside fashion, we didn't stop there. We had a community contest to name them. Thaw Patrol, Darth Blader, Sheetwood Mac, yeah, and of course Noah Dobson, to keep all the Habs fans happy. We must continue to adapt, modernizing our systems, improving communication, and ensuring we are making the best possible use of taxpayers' dollars. And we must remain mindful of the resources that support our people, particularly when it comes to water and energy. Our desire to support core infrastructure must also be met with a similar approach to core services. I would like to welcome Norma McColman to the podium to speak about that. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, business community. Thank you for being here and our honored guests. It's kind of hard to follow these guys. We're kind of like, they're brothers of my heart. We get along well, we argue. We might not always agree on a point, but we have to make the best of it as a family. So we're all here in good spirit. Thank you, Councillor Morrison. When you need them, nobody is more important than police officers and firefighters. This year, we are investing over $6 million directly in emergency services, supporting personnel, equipment, and facilities to ensure our first responders have what they need to serve a growing city. I want to begin with our firefighters. This past year, our firefighters responded to over 430 calls for service and did 4,000 hours of training. That work is guided by operating standards that ensure every response is approached with safety, consistency, and professionalism. However, nearly 20% of the calls our firefighters responded to were medical first responder calls. That is not sustainable. Our volunteer firefighters are not trained or compensated to replace EMS, emergency measure services. Yet, too often, that is exactly what has been happening. This year, we made the difficult decision to draw a clear line, advising that we can no longer continue acting as a substitute. This is not a reflection of the dedicated emergency measures services professionals. It is a structural and resource issue that must be addressed by the provincial government. Our message is simple. We will continue to be a partner, but the system must be strengthened where responsibility lies. Recruitment and retention remain ongoing challenges as the volume and complexity of calls increases, and we must be sure our firefighters are fully supported. To that end, this year we completed a full replacement of critical protective equipment for our firefighters. And construction of our new fire hall is moving forward, with groundbreaking this week for a modern facility that will improve response times, support long-term needs, and ensure our firefighters have the space and the resources they need to do their jobs safely and effectively. Hear, hear. Hear, hear. Our police services is also adapting to a changing environment. One of our strongest successes has been our cadet recruitment program. In partnership with the province, we have now trained and brought 6 new officers into active service. This has helped us move toward a full complement of 39 sworn officers, something we will achieve for the first time in many years. We are also seeing results from stronger collaboration. The new Joint Enforcement Team, working with provincial partners, Kensington Police and the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, is targeting mid to high-level drug trafficking across the island. JET, as it is commonly referred to, is stopping some of the most dangerous drugs from reaching our communities and holding accountable those responsible for bringing them here. But our collective work is not complete. We want the Charlottetown Police Department to be part of the team. A fully coordinated, province-wide approach to tackling organized crime is essential to protecting our streets and our children. At the same time, issues related to mental health, addictions, and homelessness are placing increasing demands on our officers. Our recent Community Safety Needs Assessment and our Public Safety Committee, chaired by Councillor Carrie Adams, have been bringing options to the table to respond. This work will need to continue. And as our city grows, we must look ahead to the facilities that support our police service, including the need to plan for a future space and operational requirements. Across both police and fire, the message is clear. Public safety is a core responsibility of municipal government, and it is one we take very seriously. But safety is not just about response. It is about prevention. It is about support. And it is about building a community where people feel safe, connected, and cared for. And that brings us to our next priority. Do I just continue?
Yeah, you
Okay.
You get to.
Okay, right. Just checking. All right. To create a more healthy, inclusive, and creative city. A safe city must also be a welcoming city, a healthy city, an inclusive and creative city, because in the end, it's not just infrastructure we build, it's how people experience the place we all call home. Arts, culture, heritage, public spaces shape that experience. They influence how we remember ourselves, how we see ourselves, how we connect with one another, and how we welcome others into our community. Council set a clear direction to invest in culture, to strengthen community connections, and to ensure Summerside remains a place where people feel they belong, and we stayed on the course. This year, through our $570,000 community support program, we continue to support the organizations that deliver arts, cultural, and community programming across our city. We also continue to invest in the look and feel of our city. Last year, Council adopted Summerside's first public art policy, an important step in embedding culture into our everyday spaces. Since then, we have expanded public art across the community with new installations like Holy Mackerel down on the boardwalk. I hope you've seen it. And The Irony of History, and additional murals now in development. Public art has the power to reflect who we are, tell our stories, and bring life to the places we share. But what matters most is not just what we build, it's who shows up. Over the past year, we have seen more people participating in our cultural programming than ever before. Our Pride events have grown significantly, and our arts festival expanded beyond traditional venues into neighborhoods, schools, seniors' homes, and local businesses, bringing culture directly into the daily lives of residents. We are also continuing to strengthen partnerships with our Acadian and Mi'kmaq communities, building relationships that are not symbolic, but ongoing and meaningful. Festivals like Diverse City and the Latino Festival continue to reflect a growing, diverse, and welcoming Summerside. These new events are building off the centerpieces of our cultural events programming like Old Time Carnival, which is a mainstay for the end of school year, Heritage Tea, and the Lobster Carnival, which again are other mainstays that continue to celebrate our community and our people. And this year, for the 70th anniversary of the Lobster Carnival and the 150th anniversary of harness racing in Summerside, we have brought Lobster Carnival and the Lobster Carnival and the Midway back together with harness racing, with new dates and a Raceway Days theme culminating with the Governor's Plate on July 15th. At the same time, we are investing in the foundation that support this work. The development of an updated municipal cultural plan is underway, helping guide how we continue to grow and support culture in our city. We are also investing in artist spaces, heritage assets, and the preservation of our shared history, ensuring that as we grow, we remain connected to where we came from. As our city grows, we must continue to create spaces where people can connect with each other, with their community, and with the place they live. That includes our downtown, our parks, our sidewalks, and our public spaces. Places where people gather, interact, and they build a sense of belonging. Because a livable city is not just one that functions well, it is one that feels like home. We have made progress, but there is much more to do. We must continue to expand access, improve accessibility, and ensure that our programming reflects the full diversity of our community. We must continue to support the organizations and volunteers who make this work all possible. And we must continue to invest in culture, not as an add-on, but as a core part of building a strong and connected city. I would now like to invite Councillor Trenholm to speak about parks, recreation, and community services. Thank you. Okay. They let the senior go first.
Well, thank you, Councillor McColman. I find it so difficult to read from a paper, but I'm going to try my best. When we talk about building a city where people want to live, stay, and raise a family, we have to talk about quality of life. That connection is built through our parks, our recreation spaces, and the everyday experience that we have in our beautiful city. Over this term, Council has taken a deliberate approach investing in playgrounds, accessibility, our waterfront, our boardwalk, and neighborhood parks. Spaces people rely on every day. To support this direction, we began a comprehensive user-based review of our Parks and Green Space plan. We are strengthening how people move throughout our city by making historic investments in sidewalks, crosswalks, and active transportation. Over $1 million in this year alone. We are investing over $400,000 in boardwalk, this is where my speech therapy always fails me, boardwalk remediation / repairs, protecting the key community asset that is used and enjoyed by thousands of residents and visitors alike. And we are adding a public washroom to Green Shore. I'm just going to repeat that because it's really exciting. We are adding a public washroom to Green Shore. Emphasis added. We are placing greater focus on supporting older adults through our Seniors Engagement and Equity Directive. This has developed clear guideposts and goals to help us build a more inclusive, accessible, and supportive community for seniors. At the same time, maybe the sign time as well, we are continuing to invest in new and upgraded recreation infrastructure across our city. This includes a full expansion and realignment of our baseball facilities at Legends Field and VIV Field, and the installation of a new multi-purpose sport floor at the Dome as part of the Canada Games Legacy Fund. This year alone, we are investing $700,000 into playground upgrades across the city. Citywide, I should say. Building new splash pads at Lafergie Park and Errol Thompson Park, and a new dog park at Northumberland, which if you've driven on Northumberland, you know it's already started. Along these investments, we continue to deliver a strong calendar of events and programs that bring people together and supports our local economy. These year-round events bring people together, invite visitors to our city, and support local businesses, and leave legacy projects for our residents to benefit and to enjoy. An example of that is a reimagined Canada Day celebration. Over the past 3 years, I'm sure it's become as no surprise, the city has involved in a major musical event on our waterfront. Last year, more than 10,000 people enjoyed Blue Rodeo downtown for a free concert. And this year, we will welcome Alan Doyle, in case you haven't, spoiler alert here, Alan Doyle and Matt Mays, as well as another amazing local musicians. All of this is part of a broader approach, one that aligns parks, recreation, and tourism with community priorities. Because as our city grows, the quality of life we offer must also grow with it. There is definitely more work we can do. We need to continue expanding access, improve connectivity, and ensuring that our spaces and programming reflect the needs of a growing and changing population. But the direction is clear. We are building a city that is not just growing, but one where people can connect, participate, and feel at home. So I really appreciate that. And I would like to welcome Deputy Mayor Corey Snow to the podium.
Thank you, Ken. As we've seen, when people come, business follow. You can see it across our city. Over the term of this council, more than $250 million in development permits have been issued, and almost all that has been private sector investment. Places that attract capital succeed, and right now, Summerside is attracting investment because we are building the conditions for it. Last year alone, 25 new businesses opened, creating more than 200 jobs. Along our main corridors, new developments and expansions have transformed long empty brownfields. New businesses and restaurants are adding to the vibrancy of waterfront, while the small and medium-sized businesses that make our city special continue to showcase an incredible group of entrepreneurs making things happen. We are amending our unsightly premises and vacant buildings bylaw and have been aggressive in tearing down derelict buildings, hiring bylaw officers, and enforcing the rules. Mother's Antiques, Princeway Furniture, Sharky's, the old government garage, abandoned houses, gone, with more to do. Our role as a city is not to create every opportunity, but to create the conditions for it, to build the foundation to support those who take the risk, and to make sure when opportunity comes, it comes here. We must be predictable with clear rules, fair processes. We must make consistent decisions with fast turnaround times so business can invest with confidence. And nowhere does this matter more right now than in our downtown. Over this past year, we brought together community members, business owners, and stakeholders through our Downtown Transformation Committee to answer a simple question: what do we need to do to make our downtown more fun? The answer was clear. While there are success stories, we also have areas that have been held back. A downtown that at times does not feel as clean, as safe, or as welcoming as it should. That must change. It starts with putting money where our mouth is. In this year's budget, council set aside $1 million specifically for downtown action, not for more studies and not for more reports, but to act, to move on the necessary, visible improvements that we know will make a difference. Better lighting, more parking, better public spaces, stronger connections between downtown and the waterfront, and more consistent and attractive streetscapes. And we will be finding ways to better support the businesses that are already there and the ones we want to attract with real incentives. We'll also be launching a downtown cleanup initiative and bylaw enforcement blitz, bringing together the city business, property owners, and residents to reset expectations and take pride in our historic downtown. Recently, we added new capacity within our economic development team with a dedicated focus on supporting small and medium-sized businesses and our downtown. I'm so excited by what is possible right now. A strong downtown is not just about buildings, it's about energy, connection, and creating a place where people want to be. And people want to visit, live, shop, and play. And when we get that right, everything else follows. Thank you. I'd now like to welcome Bruce McDougall, Chair of Finance Committee, and the Finance Representative to explain how we keep trying to squeeze every dollar out of every penny.
Well, I'm glad Corey was before me, because if Ken was there, the mic was up there. So, good afternoon, Your Honor, special guests, ladies and gentlemen. My role here is, in the headline of my remarks, is being physically responsible and paying for it all. I just want to say a couple of words before I start here. Very proud of this city. I've been involved in, as you can tell by my Arctic blonde hair, I've been around here for a while. I spent a lot of time on the Federation of PEI Municipalities. I'm also on the executive of the Federation of Canadian Municipalities. And it makes me very proud. I travel, through, I've been all across the country. And when you talk to people and you mention Summerside, they're either talking about a sporting event that's been here or how innovative we are. And that really makes the old heart swell and makes you feel good. So I just want to thank everybody in this room, the staff, Mayor Stewart's down there, all the people that make, in our business community that makes that all possible. So now I'll begin my remarks, and I appreciate the opportunity to do that. And thank you, Deputy Mayor Snow. As we begin to wrap up, I want to speak to something that underpins everything that you have heard today: how we manage our finances and how we support the people and systems that deliver these services every day. This year's budget reflects a city that is disciplined, forward-looking, and focused on balance. We are investing more than $26.7 million in capital infrastructure while maintaining stable property tax rates. At the same time, we are responsibly managing $5.4 million in debt servicing and continuing to strengthen our reserves. That did not happen by accident. It required careful planning, difficult choices, and a commitment to prioritizing what matters most. Municipal government comes with clear financial responsibilities. We are required to pass a balanced operating budget, and we must stay within defined limits on capital borrowing. This is a good thing. We can't borrow for today against future generations. But over this term, we have gone further, established our own capital borrowing benchmarks to guide our decisions that hold us to a higher standard. Because we all want to do more, the reality is that if we do not have the resources, we cannot responsibly spend them. We wish we could do everything that needs to be done, but with the reality of responsible government is knowing when to say yes, and more importantly, when to say no. We've got better than that. Over the past 3 years, our revenues have grown by approximately $9 million, and allowing us to keep pace with rising costs while continuing to invest in infrastructure and services. But growth also brings pressure. More infrastructure to maintain, more services to deliver, and more long-term obligations to plan for. That is why financial discipline and long-term planning are so important. Over the past year, we completed the first phases of our comprehensive service level review. That work identified real operational efficiencies, savings that are now being reinvested into priority areas, and there will be more to come on that. We're also advancing new approaches to capital planning, strengthening how we manage debt and cash flow, and continuing to advocate for a stronger and more equitable municipal funding model as we approach the renewal of our agreement with the province in 2027. At the same time, we are modernizing how we operate internally. This year, we made significant investments towards the development of an IT and AI master plan, system and hardware upgrades, and continued investments in City Hall facilities. Our AI and Service Delivery Committee is developing a protective and pragmatic policy framework for future integration of artificial intelligence into municipal operations. Strong systems alone are not enough. They must be supported by strong people. In the past 4 years, we have created a communications team, a bylaw enforcement unit, and policy expertise to meet our ambitions. We have hired a new CAO, JP DeRoche, whose leadership is engaged, forward-thinking, and inspiring. We are building a culture of getting to yes, of continual improvement, and enabling our people to do great things. We know there's more work to do. We need to continue improving our financial reporting, strengthening capital planning, modernizing procurement, and making it easier for residents to access services. Because at the end of the day, this is about trust. It's about ensuring that every dollar is spent wisely, that every decision is made responsibly, and that we are not only meeting the needs of today, but preparing for what comes next. This is the standard we have set for ourselves, and it is how we will continue to move Summerside forward. Thank you.
All right, I'll try and wrap things up. I'd hope we'd be done at 12:30. It's 12:26, so we'll stay right on time. This is not going to be longer than a council meeting. For anyone who's been to one of our recent council meetings, they go on for quite a while. It is an honor and a humbling privilege to serve in public office, especially with this group. I'm deeply grateful to be able to work alongside a council and city staff who are thoughtful, committed, and focused to getting things done. A mayor must lead, in my opinion, with empathy, unity, and resolve. They must be prepared and steady. They must carry a vision forward while understanding the needs and perspectives of the people they represent. A mayor must empower the team to take on the issues that matter most while keeping the ship on course and steering towards the horizon. Good leaders build strong teams, and strong teams build what comes next. This work is not about a finish line. It is an endless pursuit, a constant effort to make this place better for the people who live here today and those that will come after us. I love this place and the people we share it with. I'm proud of what we've accomplished, and I'm even more optimistic about what comes next. There's more to do, more opportunities to create, more challenges to meet, and more moments ahead that will define who we are. And we'll do it with you, the good people all around us, so that it will outlast us all. Thank you. Vive la Summerside. Have a good rest of your day.
Okay, folks, if you would like to enjoy a snack on the way out, enjoy some lunch, hang out, you're more than welcome to. It looks delicious at the back of the room. Thank you.